The night was dark and endless. Some roads are meant to disappear. The highway stretched before us. Highways hide what you shouldn't see. We thought it would be a simple road trip. Some trips never stay simple. The wind howled through the empty lanes. Winds carry whispers from nowhere. The headlights cut through the darkness. Light doesn't always show truth. Our friends laughed nervously. Nervous laughter draws attention. Somewhere, the unknown was waiting. Unknown doesn't knock before entering. The GPS flickered. Technology obeys more than humans. The engine roared beneath us. Some sounds follow forever. And that's when the first warning came. Warnings arrive when it's already too late. Story 1. The road that didn't exist. We thought it would be just another boring overnight drive. Some roads don't lead forward. They lead somewhere else. We were driving through a remote desert highway at 2:17 a.m. That time when the world feels empty, but you're not alone. The GPS suddenly rerouted us onto a road none of us recognized. Technology doesn't make mistakes, unless something makes it. Our signal dropped. The map froze. The only thing ahead was darkness. Darkness always hides something. The road was too narrow for a highway. No signs, no lights, no houses. Some roads aren't meant to be found. Then we saw the first car. A warning never comes with words. It was parked sideways, blocking half the road. Roadblocks aren't always accidents. The headlights were on, but nobody was inside. Empty cars are never truly empty. As we passed it, the radio cut to static. Static means something is trying to speak. Then a voice whispered, "Turn back." Voices don't come from radios. We laughed nervously. That was our last mistake. The road stretched longer than it should have. Some distances lie. The desert felt wrong. Silent. Cold. Watching. When silence watches you, you're already trapped. Then we saw the second car. 2 warnings mean you're being tested. This one had its door open. Open doors invite things inside. Scratch marks covered the interior. Something had tried to escape, or something had gotten in. Blood smeared the dashboard. Blood never tells the full story. Our friend in the back seat whispered, "We shouldn't be here." Fear always arrives before truth. The GPS suddenly turned back on. But it wasn't our map anymore. It showed a single message: you are not alone. Some messages aren't for humans. The road began to curve unnaturally. Reality was bending. Then the headlights revealed figures standing in the distance. Roads shouldn't have crowds at midnight. They weren't moving. Stillness is never natural. They weren't human. You can feel it before you see it. Their bodies were twisted. Their faces blurred. Some shapes weren't meant to exist. As we drove closer, they disappeared. Things vanish when they've been seen enough. The road suddenly ended. Ends aren't always real. In front of us was a tunnel carved into the desert rock. Tunnels only lead deeper. Our engine shut off by itself. Machines don't die alone. The doors locked. We weren't in control anymore. The radio whispered again. You stayed. Some choices seal your fate. And then we heard footsteps outside the car. Whatever follows you isn't human. The footsteps were slow. Slow steps mean something is enjoying the hunt. They circled our car. Predators always surround first. We couldn't see their faces. Some faces aren't meant to be seen. The windows fogged up. Cold doesn't come from the weather. Whispers filled the air. Voices multiply when fear grows. You stayed. They always repeat your mistake. Our headlights flickered. Light is the first thing to die. Then a hand pressed against the glass. Not all hands belong to people. The fingers were too long. Human anatomy has limits. These didn't. The glass cracked. Reality was breaking with it. Our friend screamed. Fear makes you loud. They loved that. The radio burst into static again. Static means they're close. This time the voice wasn't whispering. Now it wanted to be heard. Open the door. Nothing good ever asks that. We refused. Resistance only delays the inevitable. The temperature dropped. Cold means something crossed over. Our breath turned visible. The desert wasn't a desert anymore. The tunnel behind us began to glow faint red. Entrances change once you're chosen. The figures stopped moving. Stillness is always worse. Then every car door unlocked at once. They decide when you leave. The passenger door slowly opened. We never touched it. A tall shape leaned inside. It had no face, just darkness. Darkness doesn't need eyes. It whispered my name. It knew me. That's when I realized something. We weren't lost. The road was feeding. The tunnel began to shake. Reality was collapsing. The GPS screen lit up again. It wanted our attention. It showed one final message. Some warnings come too late. You never left. We had always been here. The tunnel swallowed the road. There was no escape. The figures stepped back. They had already won. The car started on its own. Machines obey the darkness. It drove forward. We weren't driving anymore. The tunnel closed behind us. No exits remained. The whispers turned into screams. Now it was our turn. The tunnel walls were moving. Walls shouldn't breathe. The air smelled rotten. Decay means something is alive. We heard voices inside the darkness. Darkness keeps memories. They weren't screaming. They were welcoming us. Stay. Nothing good invites you to stay. The road inside the tunnel twisted unnaturally. Reality was folding. The headlights revealed faces in the walls. Some places remember people. They were frozen in terror. Their fear never left. One face looked like my friend. Time was lying to us. He was still sitting beside me, or so I thought. The radio started playing laughter. Laughter doesn't belong in tunnels. Our friend in the back went silent. Silence is always the first loss. We turned to look at him. Something had already changed. His eyes were black. Darkness had moved in. His mouth slowly opened. He wasn't breathing anymore. You stayed. The tunnel was speaking through him. The car suddenly stopped. We weren't allowed to go further. The tunnel lights turned red. Red means feeding time. The walls began to close in. Some places eat. The floor beneath us cracked. There was something below. The radio whispered again. It never stops watching. Choose. Choices always cost someone. Our possessed friend pointed at me. It wanted me next. My vision blurred. Reality was slipping. The tunnel screamed. Places shouldn't scream. The car doors locked again. We were trapped with it. The tunnel demanded a choice. Nothing takes without payment. The possessed friend kept pointing at me. It wanted a soul. The walls whispered my name. They already knew me. My chest felt heavy. Fear weighs more than gravity. The radio screamed louder. Noise means hunger. The floor cracked beneath my seat. It wanted me first. My other friend grabbed my arm. Some bonds break too late. Don't let it take you. Hope always arrives late. The shadows crawled closer. Darkness doesn't walk. It moves. The possessed friend began to smile. Smiles don't belong to the dead. His body twisted unnaturally. He wasn't human anymore. Choose. The tunnel repeated itself. The walls closed in. Hook. Time was running out. My friend in the passenger seat whispered, "Whispers mean surrender. Take me instead." Sacrifice always sounds brave. The shadows stopped. They were listening. The tunnel went silent. Silence means agreement. The possessed friend turned toward him. Targets always change. His eyes widened. Regret arrived too late. The shadows grabbed him. They never use hands. He screamed once. Once is enough. Then he was gone. Nothing remains. The tunnel opened again. Payment accepted. The car started by itself. It was over, for now. The walls slowly returned to normal. Normal is a lie. The possessed friend collapsed. Whatever used him left. The radio went quiet. Quiet means waiting. The tunnel released us. Survivors are allowed to leave. The road reappeared, like nothing happened. But something followed. It always does. The road looked normal again. Normal is always fake. The desert was quiet. Silence hides memories. Our remaining friend was shaking. Survivors never feel safe. The possessed one sat silently. Something always stays behind. The GPS turned back on. It knew where we were going. It showed a familiar route. Familiar doesn't mean safe. We drove for hours. Time loses meaning after horror. The sun began to rise. Light doesn't erase darkness. The tunnel was gone. Some places move. We stopped at a gas station. Public places don't mean safety. The cashier stared at us. Strangers see more than friends. Rough night? They always know. Our possessed friend stepped out of the car. He was free now, or so we thought. His shadow didn't match his body. Shadows tell the truth. It was taller, darker, wrong. Something stayed with him. He walked toward the restroom, never followed the change. We heard screaming. Screams always come back. The cashier locked the doors. He had seen this before. The lights flickered. Darkness was returning. The restroom door burst open. It wasn't him anymore. The thing that walked out wore his body. Skin is just clothing. Its eyes were glowing. Now it was hungry again. You stayed. It never forgets. The lights went out. Endings are never bright. And the road called us back. Some journeys never end. Story 2. The Hitchhiker Who Wasn't Human. It was a rainy night. Rain always hides things. My friends and I were driving back from a late concert. Some roads shouldn't be taken after dark. The highway was empty. Empty doesn't mean safe. A figure appeared on the side of the road. Some travelers are never human. He was tall. Height is never the only warning. Wet clothes clung to his body. Clothes tell more than faces. He held his thumb out. Thumbs up are rarely innocent. I slowed the car. Caution always arrives late. Need a ride? Some questions come with a price. He climbed in without waiting. Patience is not his trait. His face was pale. Paleness hides hunger. His eyes were black. Eyes are the first lie. He didn't speak. Silence means observation. I offered him water. Water never washes away darkness. He smiled faintly. Smiles mean calculation. The air grew cold. Cold follows the unnatural. He whispered our names. Voices shouldn't know your name. He leaned forward. Proximity is the first attack. I like your music. Compliments or warnings. We laughed nervously. Nervous laughter invites it. He told a story about being lost. Lost people rarely exist alone. The windshield wipers froze. Machines obey its will. He reached for the radio. Controls are not yours anymore. The car suddenly veered slightly. Control is an illusion. The highway lights flickered. Lights die when truth approaches. I tried to speak. Words don't stop it. The stranger just stared. Staring consumes sanity. And then he smiled wider. Wider smiles hide teeth that aren't human. The car felt heavier. Weight isn't always physical. The stranger leaned closer. Proximity changes reality. He whispered again. Whispers carry commands. Do you like the rain? Questions hide traps. I glanced at my friends. Fear is contagious. They were silent. Silence is always louder than screams. The wipers stopped. Machines obey shadows. He touched the dashboard. Hands are weapons too. His fingers left black streaks. Some marks never wash away. The rearview mirror reflected him. Mirrors never lie. I looked again. Reflections sometimes tell too much. His eyes glowed faint red. Red sees the truth. I felt my throat tighten. Breathing is optional. He smiled again. Smiles mean hunger. We're almost there. Destinations lie ahead or behind. He didn't specify where. Unknown is always worse. The highway curved unnaturally. Some roads don't belong in maps. The radio burst into static. Static calls the lost voices. Get out. The first warning came too late. He leaned back. Distance is a lie. The wipers resumed. Normal resumes before chaos. He laughed softly. Laughter hides teeth not meant to bite. The rain intensified. Storms follow darkness. I glanced at my friends. Eyes see more than words. The stranger's reflection in the side window was wrong. Reflections betray reality. His mouth moved, but no sound came. Fear speaks silently, and then the lights ahead went out. Darkness arrives first. The highway disappeared. Some roads vanish when you need them most. The car moved on its own. Control is never yours. The stranger laughed. Laughter belongs to predators. He leaned over the console. Hands are faster than minds. My friend tried to call out. Words fail in the presence of darkness. The rearview mirror showed dozens of eyes. Some watchers never blinked. They surrounded the car. Reality bends for the unnatural. The rain became black. Storms turn color when hunger approaches. Lightning struck, illuminating his face. Light shows only truth he allows. His smile widened. Smiles reveal secrets not meant for humans. He whispered names. Names are contracts. I realized it knew our darkest thoughts. Some knowledge never forgives. The steering wheel twisted. Machines follow fear, not hands. I screamed. Screams barely reach eternity. The stranger's mouth opened impossibly wide. Mouths hold more than words. Shadows crawled into the car. Some things move without limbs. They touched my friends. Fear became visible. Visible fear feeds the unnatural. The car swerved into a ditch. Escape is an illusion. The stranger stood over us. Height doesn't measure threat. His eyes glowed brighter. Red consumes sanity. And then I felt it. Something inside me shifted. I wasn't alone anymore. Some presence is permanent. The car lay twisted in the ditch. Some accidents choose you. The stranger stood tall. Height measures nothing in darkness. He leaned close to my friend. Proximity carries terror. My friend froze. Frozen bodies scream silently. His eyes glowed redder. Red devours sanity. He whispered in a voice not his own. Some voices mimic souls. You belong here. Belonging is optional. The rain turned icy. Cold steals courage. The steering wheel twitched. Control bends to the unnatural. My hands moved on their own. Bodies betray minds. My friend screamed. Screams echo where shadows linger. The stranger reached out. Hands stretch farther than reality. The car shuddered. Machines obey more than humans. He laughed. Laughter follows hunger. My friend collapsed. Some falls are permanent. I tried to grab him. Reach is useless. The shadows inside the car thickened. Some darkness can't be escaped. He turned to me. Targets are chosen by intent. His face split unnaturally. Smiles deform when evil speaks. I felt him inside my mind. Fear enters before consent. Drive or die. Choices are illusions. The car lurched forward. Movement is optional. He disappeared for a moment. Absences hide intentions. Then his hand was on my shoulder. Touches linger longer than life. He screamed again. Screams taste the air. He whispered my name. Some names are never safe. The shadows followed every move. Escape is a trick of perception. The road stretched endlessly. Endless is where fear thrives. And then I realized Realization always arrives late. I wasn't driving anymore. Steering is a suggestion. The road opened into nothingness. Nothingness hides everything. The stranger's eyes glowed brighter. Red seas beyond life. He whispered one final command. Commands become chains. You will stop here. Stops are never safe. My friends were silent. Silence is heavier than screams. The car shuddered violently. Shudders follow fear. The shadows inside grew taller. Some shadows eat light. His smile split impossibly wide. Smiles hold teeth that aren't human. I tried to speak. Words are useless against the unnatural. He touched my forehead. Touch carries memory and curse. A chill ran through my spine. Chills are messages from beyond. The radio started playing static. Static marks passage into darkness. The car moved forward on its own. Movement is no longer choice. He leaned close. Proximity is the first warning. You should have stayed away. Warnings are invitations. My vision blurred. Hook. Blur hides the truth. I felt the shadows enter me. Presence is permanent. My friend screamed. Screams don't save anyone. The stranger vanished. Absences signal beginnings. The car stopped abruptly. Stops are endings pretending to be safe. My friends were gone. Some losses are permanent. I was alone. Alone doesn't mean safe. The road stretched endlessly. Endless roads trap souls. A single red light blinked ahead. Lights mark the chosen path. A whisper followed me. Whispers follow forever. Drive. Orders never end. And then I realized some passengers never leave. Story 3, The Abandoned Rest Stop. We were driving late at night. Late nights hide the worst. Somewhere along the interstate. Highways forget travelers. We spotted a rest stop. Rest stops aren't always safe. It looked empty. Empty hides more than filled. I suggested a quick break. Breaks are invitations. My friends agreed. Familiarity lulls the mind. The lights were flickering. Flickers signal warning. The parking lot was cracked. Cracks tell old stories. We walked toward the restrooms. Some paths shouldn't be walked. A wind blew through the broken windows. Cold winds carry messages. The stalls were covered in graffiti. Some messages never leave walls. The messages made no sense. Nonsense often knows too much. A figure appeared behind the snack machine. Some watchers never blinked. He was pale and tall. Height hides intent. He didn't move. Stillness is always loud. I tried to greet him. Greetings rarely work here. He turned slowly. Slow movements are deliberate. His eyes were black. Black sees more than light. His smile was faint. Smiles in darkness never reassure. He whispered, "You shouldn't be here." Warnings arrived too late. My friends laughed nervously. Hook. Nervous laughter is bait. He stepped closer. Proximity is the first strike. The lights went out. Darkness arrives first. I heard whispers from the walls. Some walls remember everything. My phone battery died. Dead devices mean no escape. A cold hand touched my shoulder. Touches are permanent. The figure moved without sound. Silence is never safe. He reached out toward us. Hands carry intent. My friend screamed. Screams barely warn anyone. The air grew icy. Cold follows what's unnatural. The flickering lights revealed more shapes. Shadows never travel alone. They were standing in every corner. Corners hide eyes and claws. I tried to pull my friends back. Movement is always slower than fear. The vending machine rattled. Objects obey the unseen. The restroom's door slammed shut. Entrances are traps now. A whisper echoed from behind. Whispers bring the forgotten. Why are you here? Questions carry consequences. My phone lit up briefly. Light is permission to watch. The shadows twisted toward it. Twists aren't random. They moved faster than thought. Speed belongs to predators. My friend's backpack vanished. Possessions are never safe. A hand touched my ankle. Touches anchor. Fear. I looked down. Some sights stay forever. Blackness flowed upward. Darkness has no direction. I screamed. Screams taste fear. The figures smiled. Smiles in darkness are feasts. The radio in my car turned on. Machines speak when no one is there. The voice said our names. Names belong to nothing now. I ran. Flight never helps. I tripped. Falls belong to the hunted. The shadows were closer. Close enough to breathe and take. And then the first figure spoke. Some voices are older than death. You shouldn't have stopped. Stops seal your fate. The shadows surrounded us. Some things move faster than light. My friends clung together. Unity can't protect against this. The vending machine rattled violently. Objects obey the unseen. The flickering lights revealed twisted faces. Faces weren't human. They grinned. Grins always hide teeth not meant for mouths. A cold hand grabbed my arm. Hands drag more than weight. My friend vanished. Some disappearances are permanent. I spun around. Reality bends when fear touches you. The figure loomed taller. Height hides intentions. He whispered into the wind. Wind carries curses. You cannot leave. Escape is a lie. The restroom's door slammed shut. Entrances become prisons. The ivy shadows reached inside the stalls. Some darkness squeezes tighter than steel. I tried to call 911. Help never comes when needed. The line was dead. Dead lines mean no escape. My phone screen flickered. Light reveals truth he wants hidden. The shadows pressed closer. Closeness suffocates courage. My heart raced. Racing heart marks prey. A scream echoed from the ceiling. Ceilings hear more than floors. I looked up. Hook. Some things crawl overhead. The figures moved in sync. Coordination belongs to predators. The first figure touched my face. Touches rewrite senses. My vision blurred. Fear bends sight. I felt cold enter my chest. Cold marks possession. The lights went out completely. Complete darkness is permission to act. And then I heard it. Some sounds arrive before death. You are ours now. Horrors claim the willing and the unwilling. The darkness became solid. Some shadows weigh more than stone. My friends were screaming. Screams echo when hope dies. I stumbled. Falls are permanent in haunted places. The walls of the rest stop, shifted. Structures obey the unnatural. The floor cracked beneath me. Some cracks swallow more than dust. A hand grabbed my ankle. Anchors of fear hold tighter than chains. I looked up. Some ceilings hide creatures. His eyes glowed brighter. Red sees into your soul. The whispers became screams. Screams speak truth no one wants to hear. My friend disappeared. Loss is always immediate. The shadows followed my every move. Predators track fear. I ran toward the exit. Escape is always a trick. The exit wasn't there. Doors lie when you need them most. The figures surrounded me. Surrounded means choice is gone. They laughed. Laughter belongs to the damned. The walls closed in. Space bends for them. My heart pounded. Heartbeat is a countdown. I screamed. Screams taste the darkness. A hand touched my shoulder. Touches remain long after fear. I turned. Turning reveals what waits. The figure smiled. Smiles hide horrors beyond comprehension. Stay. Some commands are eternal. The shadows dragged my friends back. Some forces never release. I was alone. Alone doesn't mean safe. The radio crackled. Static calls the lost voices. You cannot leave. Words echo when escape fails. And then the lights returned briefly. Light shows truth for a moment. I saw what had taken them. Some things are not human. The exit doors slammed. Exits close when fear enters. They were watching me. Eyes never blink when you are hunted. The exit was gone. Some roads never lead anywhere. The shadows closed in. Darkness always arrives first, my heart raced. Heartbeat marks the chosen. The figure stood before me. Predators measure fear, not size. I tried to move. Movement is never free. The walls seemed alive. Structures breathe when evil walks. The rest of my friends were gone. Loss is permanent in haunted places. The air turned icy. Cold carries memories of the damned. The figure leaned close. Proximity carries intent. You shouldn't have stopped. Warnings arrived too late. My vision blurred. Fear bends reality. The shadows reached inside. Some darkness consumes more than light. A hand touched my shoulder. Touches anchor terror forever. I screamed. Screams echo when hope dies. My body froze. Paralysis belongs to the hunted. The figure smiled. Smiles hide things no mind should see. I felt cold enter my chest. Cold marks possession. The lights flickered. Flickers reveal truth he wants hidden. I was dragged forward. Resistance is meaningless. The radio crackled. Static marks passage into darkness. You belong here. Belonging is never optional. The exit appeared briefly. Hope is always temporary. I ran toward it. Flight is the first illusion. The shadows followed. Some hunters never stop. My hand touched the door. Doors are the last test. I stepped through. Steps decide fate. The world outside seemed normal. Normal is always fake. I turned to look back. Some mistakes follow forever. The shadows stood in the parking lot. They wait for the next victim. They whispered my name. Names belong to nothing now. And then I realized, some passengers never truly leave. If you survive these stories. Hook. Survival doesn't mean safety. Remember, some roads never forget. Memories follow the brave and foolish alike. The wind may still whisper your name. Whispers travel farther than screams. Look behind you, but not too long. Some eyes never blink. Some travelers never leave. Passengers stay long after they arrive. These were the true road trip horrors. Truth is scarier than fiction. Wait for the next journey. Darkness always has more stories. And remember, dread is always closer than you think. Fear walks beside you.